everyone. My name is Michael Seelman. I'm the CEO of the Leadership Coach Group. I'm really happy to welcome you here today. For those of you that are joining us, I encourage you to share in the chat where you're calling in from. We'd love to be able to greet you and know what part of the world you're joining us from. So we have Mike, our presenter today, who's joining us. Thank you so much for being with us, Mike. And he's coming from Bavaria, Germany. So it's great to have Mike gone in from there. Yes, we've got Maya also on our team from Manila. It's so wonderful to have you with us, Maya. I'm calling from the Washington, D.C. area. Today, what we're going to be sharing with you is our monthly webinar on Exhale the Year, a calming practice of gratitude and reflection, presented by Mike Meydenbauer. You heard is joining us from Germany. And we also have Jade joining us from Columbia, South Carolina. And we have Jennifer joining us from Columbia, South Carolina. We have Bridget from Broomfield, Colorado, and Maiden from Wilmington, North Carolina. Thank you all. We have Raj from India. Thank you for joining us, Raj. So as other people want to share where they're calling in from, we'd love to welcome you. And so today we're going to be talking about a practice of calming, of gratitude and reflection. We encourage you to be fully engaged and participate as we do this webinar. We'll be talking about additional resources that you can take advantage of, and we hope you fully engage. And we'll also give you an opportunity to get direct coaching from Mike. We call this series Open Coaching, so you'll have an opportunity to speak directly with Mike. We have Angela also on our team from Knoxville, Tennessee, and we have Jade from Columbia, Erica from Columbia, South Carolina. Great to have you with us, Erica. It looks like maybe several people calling in from Columbia, South Carolina, maybe on the same computer. So thanks so much for joining us. So I want to give you a little bit of background. Today's webinar is part of a series of webinars that we call our Open Coaching series, where we have different hosts and presenters that are presenting on different themes. And so it's always the first Friday of the month at noon Eastern Standard Time. And we try to bring up topics that are helpful to you. So we're going to be asking for your evaluation. If there's topics you'd like us to cover in the future, we'd love to hear that. And our goal is to have actionable insights that you can implement in your life and in your business and your personal life, and improve the quality of your life and your leadership. In addition to these live webinars, we have a playbook that allows you to go through the same topic in greater depth in the privacy of your home or your workplace, so you can reflect more on the things that our presenter shares. And each of our webinars also has the opportunity for you to interact directly with our presenter and get some coaching. So you'll see that after this webinar, you get an email that will have a link to our playbook. And this playbook on gratitude and reflection will have guided exercise, reflection prompts, and informative leadership insights. We encourage you to download it. It's free and easy to use. We wanted to also mention that we have a variety of services beyond our webinars that we offer, and they include one-on-one coaching, team effectiveness services like leadership training, leadership assessments. We also can do motivational speakers, you name it. We want to be your one-stop shop for leadership services. And our coaches have served leaders at many different levels of organizations and types of organizations. Here's some of the global brands that are leaders of our clients where we've coached people at, including Oracle, Dropbox, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, Sony, FICO, many others. We've coached leaders at these organizations. Now, you might say, well, gosh, I'm at a smaller organization. Well, we coach leaders at nonprofits, at government agencies, and even down to one-person companies. So we just put up here some global brands that you might recognize. Immediately following the webinar, you'll get an email that'll have a link to a web page on our website that has a copy of the playbook that we discussed. It includes the slide deck that we'll be showing here and the Mike's content. And it'll also give you an opportunity to have a one-on-one coaching session with Mike, a complimentary coaching session. It'll be free, that you could work on some of the principles that he talked about during the webinar, or anything that you like. So it's very generous. Thank you, Mike, for offering that to our participants. So without further ado, I want to introduce my colleague, Mike Meydenbauer. He's on our leadership team of our company, and I'm really glad for the insights and the commitment he brings there. I found his counsel very valuable in what we do. And it's not surprising, given that he has over 20 years of leadership and coaching experience working with CEOs, vice presidents, senior directors, and military veterans across many different industries and services. He's been serving leaders. He's a former naval flight officer, I want to get that title correct, and a diplomat, where he's had over 500 aircraft landings on aircraft carriers and 5 years of diplomatic service in Africa. So he's advised ambassadors, ambassadorial staff. So as I was just talking with a prospective client, matching him with Mike, if he can help you speak with diplomacy. And also, I know in the military also there's a lot of directness. So he has the span of communication skills, helping you adapt to the different environment. And he's skilled in high stakes leadership situations with deep experience advising senior US and foreign government leaders in dynamic, high pressured environments. And he's known for his deep intuition and calming energy that can help you stay grounded. So that makes him the perfect speaker for today, talking about exhaling the year, a calming practice of gratitude and reflection. When Mike and I were talking about what he's most grateful for, he mentioned that being a father and the ability to be with his family and take hikes and things like that, which you'll see in part of the framework that he brings to what he'll share today. So without further ado, I want to turn it over to my colleague, Mike Meydenbauer. Mike?
Thanks, Michael and Maya. I appreciate that. And given the opportunity to do one of my favorite things that I actually offer many of my clients is at the end of the year, how to do kind of a reset for what went down in the current year, and then setting our intention moving forward. So it's my pleasure to get to do this webinar with you all today. A little bit about me. In my background, I'm a Northern California guy, and so there's some stereotypes with that I learned when I entered the military, and for me, they were fairly true, as I was kind of always a little out there. My wife saying she's laughed. She's like, "You were raised in the Magic Garden by hippies in daycare," and so I learned to do meditation and yoga at a very early age. I learned all about breathing, and it's funny, you don't know what you don't know when you're growing up until later on in life, when you start to realize how much those techniques actually play a role in helping the nervous system and helping you become present. So a few things, and there will be more on this in the handout, but why we need to exhale. So exhaling or breathing gives you that one of your major keys and cues for the body to switch from flight or fight into that parasympathetic nervous system. So letting go. I'm going to give you an example of where I will usually use examples with my family because it's just easier than using client or work examples. But how many times we've had to use the breathing with our children, and when you notice that they're starting to panic or they're upset, you can really catch that they're doing shallow breathing. And to get them to the point of being able to breathe deeply, when my son started catching on to that, he would refuse. He's like, no. And that's how you know even more so it's important. And within 3 breaths, you see the whole body start to just relax when you could finally get him to take a deep breath. And so exhaling, we're going to do a little bit of breathing today to help get the body and the nervous system set into the present moment, into a place where we can reflect with calm and with clarity. So your body is your brain. We've got a little plug for Amanda Blake here. If anybody knows Amanda Blake, she does a great she has a lot of good writings on neuroplasticity and body intelligence. And where I like Amanda's topics is she will talk about getting the nervous system in the right state. And before you can really do any real deep reflection, it's always good to get that nervous system set. We do need that stress. We need it in our lives to accomplish certain tasks. But when we're getting into the reflection and we want to think clearly, it's often a good to have the body and reset the parasympathetic system. So Amanda Blake, we've got a little bit more of her in the handout as well. And then the power of the pause. I can't tell you, in today's world, everybody is running around like crazy. And if you've noticed on social media now, I think believe it or not, I think it was the sitcom Friends was the first one, when I remember reading about this, that actually took almost all pauses or as many pauses out of the dialogue as possible. So it became talking right after the next person, you start talking. And if you watch YouTube videos, they cut and they make it very short and choppy so that you can get as much in there as possible. And believe it or not, you start to become bombarded with this, that your body is constantly being bombarded with information. And so one technique that I've taught leaders before they go into certain meetings where they have to present was to just take a moment to pause before the meeting with a pen and paper and write down what they think is the most important thing that they need to talk about. And I never tell them how long they should spend on it. And what I love is hearing when we check in again afterwards, is hearing that they find like they're nervous and they just say, well, I really only spend like 2 minutes. I'm like, exactly. It doesn't take that long to pause. And today we're going to really focus on adding gratitude into that pause to help stimulate some internal, I would say energy work, but some internal radiance that helps you get a little perspective when you can get into the parasympathetic nervous system, get out of the fight or flight, and start to appreciate with gratitude any number of things in your life. I think you'll really see how that could help give you some compassion, some clarity, a calmness, sense of calmness around you to help you connect with what what your intention is at that time. So with that, let's start with a little grounding exercise. This is we have a little bit of time today because we're in a webinar. And in the book, I'll give you some box breathing technique, which is a really good exercise as well to help you in a short time to connect movement with the breath and intention. But this one I want to do is one of my favorite for gratitude and for resetting the nervous system. And I would tell you to help bring your heart energy into vibrance. So if I can have you just accept for the next 15 to 20 minutes, turn off the phones, put them upside down, try to stay focused and give yourself the gift of the present moment. We're going to take a pause from wherever you are in the world and reconnect with awareness of our body with gratitude. So feel free to put your feet flat on the ground, adjust your seat as required. If you like, you can close your eyes. I'd invite you to just start taking a few deep breaths through your nose. And as you inhale, allow the breath to enter in through your nostrils and feel it rise up into your forehead. You exhale, feel it flow through your nose, exhaling. And you may even feel that exhale start from the tip of your forehead and flow through your nose out in front of you. may feel a tingling in the center of your forehead, and that's okay. It might even feel as if the breath is entering and leaving directly through that tingling. I'd like you to think of an image of gratitude. It could be a person, it could be a place, it could be an object or a symbol, something for you that helps you reflect gratitude, and place that image right at the source of that tingling in your forehead and feel that tingling sense vibrate that image. I invite you to take that image and that vibration and let it sink down through your head, past your eyes, as you feel your eyes soften, past your jaw, your cheeks, as your cheeks soften and relax, down through your throat, leaving a trail of vibration as it goes past your collarbones into your heart space. And you may feel that tingling vibration, that tingling symbol of gratitude in your heart start to vibrate with each breath. As you inhale through the chest and through that symbol, you could feel that vibration start to tingle and trickle throughout your body, slowly spreading through your arms, through your torso, your belly, hips, legs, your feet. Allow that vibration of gratitude emanate, and allow that vibration from others in this webinar to emanate with you. Feel that sense of peace right now. Go ahead and take one more breath. Now that we're in this grounded state, let's do a review at 2025. So next slide, please. So I'd like you to take your journal or any notepad that you have, and ideally we would write this by hand. And I'd like you to, I'm going to give you 2 minutes, which, believe it or not, will seem like a long time. I want you to review the year. You can do it by month. You can do by whichever activity you feel like, through birthdays, holidays. I want you to start to write down when you feel or felt alive, proud, in flow, which we're going to talk about more next month. But write down some of the gold from 2025 in your journal now, because we'll use this later on. I know in this webinar, we don't always have chat responses, but if you'd like to, if there's anything in gold that you'd like to put in the chat, I welcome you. I'll do simple ones. Just give a couple more seconds to think of if there's anything else. Okay. Now, on a separate section of the page, let's look back at 25 and let's think about what weighted us down. And we can go to the next slide. What were some of the things
I can
that,
say in the chat, some people have shared some things that
oh,
were gold
thank you,
for
Mike.
them. They
Please.
said that Bridget said 2 sunset paddle boards with chosen friends.
I love it.
Angela mentioned daily gratitude journaling and making my health a priority. Maya said Sundays with family.
Nice. I love it. Sunset paddleboarding. I got one of those in. Magical.
Alita said yoga on paddle boards in the harbor.
Oh, advanced yoga. Wow. Holy smokes.
I noticed you in the organizers chat said time outdoors.
Yes. Am I in the wrong chat? Sorry about that. Thank you. I will like everyone to move into the next slide then, which is looking back. What are some of the things that weighted us down? What were some activities that maybe drained us? And go throughout the year and write down, jot down a few of these activities, and we'll use this in a moment as well. I know I wrote down on mine, since I'm in the wrong chat, a packed schedule was one that was challenging for me this year, which the next thing after that was too many yeses, as you could imagine. But feel free in the chat if there's anything that you'd like to share that might have weighted you down, would help others kind of think or jar their memory as well as to what might have been draining their energy over the year.
I shared in the chat constant urge to do everything perfectly. Uh, I wrote down concerns about our country and economic volatility.
Yeah. I put fretting over tasks as well. Okay, so let's do a quick, now that we've just switched from the gold to the weight. I see we got another chat that came in.
Anurag said overthinking.
Yes.
And Raj he said, the first thing is curiosity, always ask better questions, not assuming too much. The next thing is being compassionate, precision, offering gratitude that is both kind and sharp. The last one is to do hard work on my dreams and goals.
Okay. Love it. I love the dreams and goals because we are going to now take just 3 breaths. I'd like you to just come back. Let's get our presence again back into our body and see if within 3 breaths you can feel that tingling and remember that image of gratitude. I want you to picture yourself 1 year from now and taking note of the gold and what you would like to see more of or allow more time for, and taking note of the weight, the draining energy moments. I want you to imagine the future you next December. How are you standing? How are you feeling knowing that you have reduced one of those draining moments, draining activities from 2025, and you have increased one of the gold activities or feelings? And allow yourself to just feel what that feels like, this future you, the future you who's acting with purpose, full of gratitude for who they are and how they choose to spend their time. And just breathe and feel the vibration of that energy of the future you making those decisions with confidence and clarity. I'd like you to find 3 words or a short phrase that helps you describe or know that future you. Could be a present parent, a caring leader. Think of anything that will help you remember that feeling. I really want you to focus on the feeling of what it feels to be the future you with that confidence and that clarity. And while you're in your journal, jot down a symbol that you would like to give the power to remind you of that feeling. Something that when you see it or you could use to help jar your memory back to how you will be in a year, knowing what you know now. I'll share mine is I'm old school, and it is just that simple smiley, yellow smiley face that just looks so happy. That's that's my symbol for 2026 as I become the present parent. If there's anyone that has a symbol they would like to share for fun, I invite you to share at this time.
Alita shared white feather.
Oh,
Alita's joining us from South Africa.
nice. I think in some spirit animals, seeing a feather is supposed to be a sign from a loved one. Okay, so now with the next slide, how do we put this into action? So as coaches, we're always looking to try to find ways to change our habits. So with that symbol in mind, a trailhead is your starting point. And this is where I was mentioned I would talk about my son. So when we moved to Bavaria, we were doing a climb in the Alps, and my son was having he was 10, and it was a little bit of stretch climb for him with the distance and the challenge, the technicality. And he would start to just have anxiety and have to stop in the shallow breathing. And we had to stop maybe 4 times to kind of regroup, get the breathing back down, center himself, ground himself. But I started to pick up a pattern of when these anxiety attacks were happening. And I noticed that they would happen when we would crest a little hill, and then you would glimpse how far we had to go. And when he could see the little people far away and realize that we had to go that distance, it would hit him. And he would turn into his nervous system would go into fight or flight. He started doubting himself. He'd say he can't make it, he can't continue. And we would have to then take a break and reset, and we would do our breathing exercises. And part of that is because it can be daunting. And some of you on the call have been given tasks or assignments. I know Michael's working on his doctorate, which is massive when you think about that. And it could be so tough to even get started because you know the work or the challenge that it's going to take to get through that. And so we started in our family using the phrase 20 seconds of courage, that it really only takes 20 seconds of courage to accomplish a task. And what I mean by that is the hardest part of most tasks is getting started. And when you can just make the decision to finally start, you find that things start to unfold after that. You find that you can break things into bite-sized pieces, to little chunks, into steps like a project manager would, and you start eating the elephant one bite at a time. And so a trailhead is the starting point for you to bring forth this vision of your 2026 you, to bring forth that feeling, how you are going to bring that feeling of that confident, clear, compassionate person with your symbol. So I'd invite you to spend 1 to 2 minutes of coming up with a way that how can you start this off tomorrow? What is one small action step you could take before the week is over to remember that feeling of your 2026 you? If it's to be healthy, we can go to the next slide, a few examples. You can start by putting the reminder of the running shoes by the door. You can make a rule, a declaration with to be more present by not allowing phones at the dinner table for the family or for yourself. You can make a commitment to the 3 breaths or that feeling of gratitude in your heart center. And what I would invite you is to get that feeling and remind yourself to put yourself into that feeling from the future. You will draw the activities to you in the present to help you get there. A little bit of manifesting principles there of like energy and like vibration, attracting like vibration. You may notice when you put yourself in the future you that some things don't interest you anymore. And it's only by being present can you take action on that and not live your life out of habit. And we were talking about in our session yesterday how operating from habit in many ways is like being a non-player character in a video game or a movie. It just does the same role without thinking. And how many times have you caught yourself walking the same way to the office and you don't even remember getting to work? You're in your head thinking about things, and those thoughts are keeping you out of the present moment. They're keeping you out of presence, and you're a non-player character at that point in consciousness and in reality. And you can, a fun game to do is to watch folks walking down the street. It does two things for you. You get to see all the non-player characters out there, folks that are not even, they're in their head and they're just moving through without even seeing that what's around them. But what you'll notice that when you look at each of those people in the eyes and you look at where they are, that brings you into the present. And I've noticed that after a stressful day, coming home and just waiting at a stoplight and the dialogues from work is going through the head, you're repeating things that you said, questions you asked, things you should have said. Some of you may know these thoughts that come in. But when you can stop and look at the folks on the sidewalk walking, it immediately takes you into the present and out of your head. And you now start to see real people that don't see you watching them. And it's amazing. There's a psychological shift that takes place when you see people that don't realize somebody's watching them and what that looks like and how much you see and feel what they're going through. It's a really fun exercise to do. I would encourage everyone to try that if you get a chance.
Like
So
Raj
with
shared in
that,
the
please.
he shared in the chat some commitments I think he's looking for 2026. He said, first, confidence, walking with self-assurance, presence, and clarity. So that maybe you'd see him on the sidewalk walking with confidence and clarity. Emotional strength. He said, I get confused now when I'm breathing and responding with control a year from now. He said he also wants to work on boundaries. Maybe now I say yes too often or tolerate things I shouldn't. My future self knows how to protect my peace. And self-care, he said, instead of negative coping, like overthinking or scrolling, maybe I rest, do journaling, or something kind for myself.
Lovely. And Raj, I would invite you to come up with one trailhead for just one of those items. So, for example, say no one time next week to something you normally would have said yes. And if it, to give you a little, I love this phrase and I wish I could attribute it to somebody, but there's a saying out there, the richest person in the world is the one who can say no the most often. And so think about that as that first no is bringing you back that time. And it could be that when you say no and you turn around with that no, It could be that you giggle and you just smile because it'll be one of your first no's of the 2026 Raj. And that's a magical feeling. And that, I guarantee you, walking away from that, you'll be walking taller. So I'm not saying you have to say no to everything, but there's also a drill where you say yes to everything, and that's a fun exercise too. But we're we've already done the homework, we've done the gold, we've done the weight. So I think that's a wonderful thing. And that could be your, what I would encourage you is to come up with a timeline. In the next 48 hours, I will say no to one thing, and write that down. And when you make it, allow yourself to walk a little taller, allow yourself to feel that 2026 Raj and that vibration of gratitude. Gratitude for being in a position to be able to say no at that moment. So, kind of the mantra for this session is carry the gold, release the weight, walk, and I'm just going to add, and feel towards your vision, one step at a time. In I guess you would call it a theory of manifestation, but every time you vibrate at that feeling of the next you, of the future you, you're attracting and you're drawing the energy and the experiences towards you. I've got, because we're going to offer up a little bit. If anybody would like to come on screen and talk, I'd love to. I'd be happy to. I want to just share a little bit of that kind of philosophy theory of bringing that towards you. When you're a non-player character and you're in your head and you're operating out of habit, you don't realize that your brain is filtering out so many opportunities around you. Now, you have to, in some ways, in order to function. But when you are present and you're not in your head somewhere else, and you see what's around you and you're paying attention to consciously decide every action rather than out of habit, you will find, quite likely, that these opportunities that will help you become the future you are all around you. And it's a matter of changing your habits and your actions to say yes sometimes to new things that you may not normally do, or to say no sometimes to things that no longer serve you or actions that no longer serve you. And it's only by being in presence in your body of awareness, full of awareness, that you will start to lead and bring that change about far more rapidly than just going through the same habits and the same actions of 2025. So that is, now we can go to the next session. If anybody would like to come on and share or talk through any of your weight or your gold or what was just discussed, or have questions, then this would be a great opportunity to do that. And I would invite you to. But I know Michael has to say a few things on that.
Thank you, Mike. So we encourage you to volunteer. If you would like to volunteer to get some direct coaching and reflection with Mike, then you can just put "I volunteer" in the chat, or you can use one of the icons to raise your hand, and we'll be able to bring you on camera. But part of volunteering is that you're ready to engage in a meaningful conversation, ready to turn on your camera and your microphone. You consent to being recorded, because we want to be able to share this webinar with people that aren't able to be with us live today. And for the best visibility, we want you to be on a desktop or laptop computer so that we can see you when you join. So if you want to volunteer, please just say "I volunteer" in the chat, or you can use the raise your hand capability. That would be terrific. All right, looks like we have Ava, who raised her hand. Thank you so much, Ava. Mike, one thing I was reflecting on is that your sense of calm and presence probably really helped you with those aircraft carrier landings, I imagine.
Oh, speaking of that, that's funny. Yes, you're
Hello.
right. You have to. There we go. I hear
Hello.
you, Ava.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
Okay. We can't.
Ava, where? So we can't see you, but we can hear you.
Oh yeah, I don't know how to open this up. Let me see. The video is not stopped, but I don't know why.
No
Oh my.
worries. Just go ahead and start talking with Mike.
Yeah. Sorry, my dogs are barking. Okay. Yeah. Yes, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay, okay. Oof. It's my first time to attend a webinar from your company, sir. And what again is the question?
So yeah, please go ahead if there's anything that you wanted to ask or to discuss about the exercise that we just went through, or
That was very
anything.
nice. Yeah, that was very nice. It seems to be like it reminds me of my study in my master's, like the mindfulness, because I'm a nurse
Yeah,
and we really need that. Sometimes you have to think like, did I close the door? And you come back again and check. And sometimes you really close it, but you didn't remember you closed it. Though that means we really have to indulge ourselves to be attentive to the present moment, because as a nurse, if we are distracted, sometimes we commit mistakes and this could affect our work, and sometimes it correlates to decreased happiness and burnout at work. So it really matters that we are aware of what we're doing. We inhale, exhale, because it will affect us. At the same time, it will lessen the anxiety and the nervousness at work. I really like
lovely.
exercise a while ago, yeah, because sometimes the way we converse with other people are affected if we don't inhale and exhale because of the sympathetic nervous system and etc.
Yeah. Ava, can I ask you, what are some techniques that you use to remain present while you're working as a nurse?
I was my techniques actually I did a lot. Sometimes it's just a proper trial error. I try to think like I'm at work. My rescue dogs. Some keep quiet, Padre. Sorry. Those are my dogs. I bring it here from the Philippines. I'm from the Philippines. So what I did is I always remember that today, for example, today is Friday and the date is 5, so that I would be aware. And at the same time, when somebody, especially when somebody ringing the phone, that's the one way that nurses are distracted. Sometimes we carry out orders wrongly, put it in another cardex because you answer the phone and somebody turned the pages of the cardex, and but I almost commit mistake, like sometimes that I put carry out the orders on another cardex, and I said, oh my god, this is wrong. So I put my mind again on what I am doing right now, because it doesn't kill you when you do concentration, because especially in the Philippines, we have a lot of patients compared to nurses, especially when I transferred in a public hospital from private and a public hospital. There's a big difference. It's like you're like a nurse, you're like a construction worker in a scrub suit. So it's really very, very hard to maintain concentration at work. Yeah, that's why I am
That's
49. But
uh, Ava, that's the funniest description of a nurse I've ever heard, like a construction worker in a scrub suit. I love
You,
it.
you came in like a Barbie and you come out like an Annabelle. That's it.
Well, thank you for your comments. I appreciate it. Is there any questions you have or you want to discuss further with your 2025, or were you just sharing the
Um,
techniques and how you felt?
Yeah, I would want to ask if for me I'm going to take my NCLEX soon. I am waiting for my EAD and my green card. Maybe my green card would took me a lot very long time because Trump tried to make it a little bit longer. I don't know why. So I want to ask if how can I be a good impact, not to be a people pleaser anymore, but how can I adapt here in US? It seems like in my 25 years of experience, it seems to be like I am in a very stressful mode always. I'm on a fight mode always, stressful.
Yeah.
So here I just wanna ask you how can I adjust myself in the hospital? What should I do? So that not to really have to get good impression, but just to be who I am. At the same time, how to get a work that I will not be underpaid because here, the way you have to be honest, like what do you think could fit my qualifications? So I'm also scared that they will not hire me because I have like 25 years experience with masters and they might not. I'm scared also that they may not able to hire me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's there's a couple things that's coming to mind, and Michael just came up, which means we're coming to the close of the session. But all I would encourage you is, if you are constantly under that fight or flight stress mode, we didn't talk about this. I had it in one version, but I want to just invite everybody, is that social media and politics and everyone has figured out that they get your attention by triggering you into fight or flight mode. That is a common technique. You may notice that people use fear-based statements. You see it in social media, you see it on the news, you see it all over. And that is designed to get your attention, but you can become addicted to that feeling, and the chemicals and the hormones of the sympathetic nervous system is addictive. And so there's some times where you're now, because you've been so bombarded with it, that you would look for it. And so I think in the US, a lot of people may notice that sometimes you just pick a fight, and you're like, you know what? I'm not letting that happen. And you pick a fight. So I just want to, if we're bringing the awareness that all around you is designed to bring you into that fight or flight mode, some ways to get out of it to start. There's any number of techniques. Your mindfulness exercises are perfect. Walks in nature, walks in general, a walk outside, movement and walking. If you feel the steps in your feet as you walk down the hallway, and you focus on that, that will bring you into your body, into the present moment. And that kind of a technique will help you start to reset. And the more just bringing your intention to it, the more you'll start to see and bring that awareness into the future you, as we talked about, and then start to create that person that can see when it's necessary to have your sympathetic nervous system to save that life, and when you don't need that sympathetic nervous system activated to do paperwork or on your walk home. So I will let Michael take it from here, but thank you so much for coming on, and I love your story, and good luck.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Ava. Ava said thank you. And so, Ava, as Mike was sharing, you could do that mindful walking. You could also do the mindful breathing technique that she shared. Those are great techniques for you to do in the hospital. And people are sharing their thanks in the chat, Mike, for what you did. So we want to remind everyone that you'll be receiving a follow-up email that has a link to a web page where the playbook and slide deck will be available. You'll also have there on that page an opportunity to have a free complimentary coaching session with Mike, and we encourage you to take advantage of that. And then we really want to put in a push for you to get the playbook so you can go more in depth into the techniques that Mike was talking about and do some more reflection, do some exercises. And so we encourage you to do that. We also would welcome your feedback. You can scan this QR code on your screen right now, and that will bring you to our feedback form. You also get a link in the email afterwards. We really would love to hear your feedback on this webinar. We'll be meeting immediately afterwards, doing after action review. And if you fill it out, we'll be able to take a look at the feedback you have. We'll also look at the ones that are submitted later. But if you want to be brought into our discussion, if you could do it right away, we'd appreciate it. We just like to do that after action review immediately after the webinar. So you can scan this code, and also there's a link that Maya put in the chat to the feedback and also to our other resources. And as Mike mentioned, we have another webinar coming up next month that kind of continues on, you could say flows on from what Mike shared. It's the flow state advantage, how leaders achieve more with less stress. And it'll be presented by our colleague Jerry Anathan. It'll be on Friday, January 2nd. So right after the new year at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the US. And so we hope you can join us for that. You can sign up. You'll be a link in the follow-up email to sign up for that as well. We hope you can join us. And as always, we're here for you. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm Michael at leadershipcoachroot.com or Maya at leadershipcoachroot.com. She's also always happy to meet with you. You can call us on this telephone number or check our services on our website. We're here for you. We can provide the one-on-one coaching, team assessments, any type of leadership services you might need. We'd be happy to provide them for you. So thank you, everyone. I want to thank Mike Meydenbauer for presenting today. I want to thank Ava for volunteering. I want to thank Maya for helping to bring people here today, as well as our colleague Carl for organizing this. So we hope you have a wonderful holidays, and we look forward to seeing you in the new year. Take care.
Happy New Year, Raj. Thank you.